I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and part 2 of the One VX and the Lumia 820 Dogfight starts in just a second. But first, special thanks to our valued partners at Best Buy Mobile for giving us devices like this for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, you're going to walk out without dealing with rebates. I hate paperwork. I've got enough paperwork. Tax time's about to come up. It's obnoxious enough as it is. At Best Buy Mobile, you won't deal with paperwork, rebates, debit cards. You just walk out the door paying the full after retail price, or after rebate price rather, at Best Buy Mobile. Let's take a look. One VX, Lumia 820, Android versus Windows Phone, fight, in a dogfight. And part 2 starts right now. Part 2 of a dogfight battle between the One VX and the Lumia 820, two mid-range devices on AT&T that pack a pretty serious punch. One has a 1.2 GHz dual-core Snapdragon S4 processor. One has a 1.5 GHz dual-core Snapdragon S4 processor. This one's got a bigger display, this one's got a smaller display, all kinds of crazy specs, and it really depends on what matters most to you. If you're looking for a better camera or something with a better megapixel image sensor, you're going to want to go with the 820. If you want to go with the bigger display, you're going to want to go with the One VX. We're trying to decide which one has the best all-around package, and that's what we're going to do in part 2. We're going to kick it off by taking a look at the web browser on both of these devices, both of which are running AT&T's 4G LTE, and I'll tell you in the Dallas metro area it works just fine. Speeds are anywhere between 12 and 25 megabits per second generally. Upload speeds generally between 8 and about 15 megabits per second. Very fast all around, and I've found the One VX to be a great go-to device for a lot of people because I feel like it fits a lot of different lifestyles. You've got the person that's the Android lover, doesn't want to spend a ton of money on a Galaxy S3 or a Note 2 or a 1X Plus, but they want something with some power. This has got some pretty decent specifications for the buck. Here's PhoneDog.com. You can see it loads up nice and fast. Portrait to landscape, reasonably fast all around. You've got the typical HTC look and feel up here with tabs and menu up top. So if I want to go to, let's say CNN, for example, to look at New Year's Eve celebrations around the world, or I guess New Year's Day, depending on where you're at in the world, you can easily go to CNN and flip back and forth between the two. Then over here, PhoneDog.com loaded up fantastic web browsing capability on Windows Phone 8. Little to no lag whatsoever. Very impressed with that. Where I think Android in a lot of ways comes ahead is the ecosystems. You got two things going for Android. One, you got the ecosystem. If you use Google at all, you use Gmail, you use Google Voice, you use Google Drive, which means Google Docs, formerly called Google Docs. Using anything Google related, Android's going to be a fantastic option. If you use SkyDrive, Microsoft Office on a regular basis, anything like that, the ecosystem is, granted, a very baby ecosystem, but the ecosystem's going to be better for you probably on the Lumia 820. It's growing, it's just not quite where it needs to be in comparison to Android and iOS, which are the two industry heavyweights in a lot of ways. That said, Windows Phone 8 has made substantial progress from 7 and 7.5, and I am excited to see in 2013 how it continues to take leaps and bounds. I think things like Xbox Live integration are very underestimated in the marketplace. I think that can be a game changer in a lot of ways. And as I've said in meetings past, meetings throughout 2012, the ecosystem's got to grow on the Windows Phone side. Once it gets to a certain point, I think a lot of people will adopt this. It's got great SkyDrive integration. I love things like the People Hub, for example. I can jump in here and I can find, for example, my Twitter account. I can go to what's new. I've got my Twitter account here, and I'm in between some Twitter accounts, so that's not showing up properly, but I've got my Twitter news that will show up right there. And then I've got these family rooms as well, which is a fantastic option for a lot of people that have Windows Phone 8. So if mom, dad, brother, sister have Windows Phone 8, they can all get in a family room and send messages. They can sync up calendars and more thanks to the integration with Windows Phone 8. Another thing I like a lot, and let me see if I have it over on this one. I do, good. Kids Zone, which I have turned on. You can set this up and put in whatever programs you want with the exception of email or phone. And all you have to do, instead of going up on the lock screen, you can swipe to the right, or swipe to the left rather, and access, in this case, Timmy's custom area, Kids Corner, Kids Zone. What you want to call it? I call it Kids Zone. It's actually Kids Corner according to Microsoft. But you can see you can really make this your own, kind of customize it around, change it as you see fit, and you can change the colors within Kids Corner. I can change the Timmy's name if I want to. If I want to call him Little Timmy, I can change the background to dark, and I can go right back and go to Timmy's. Then when I want to turn it off, I just have to turn it off and back on, and I can access my normal Windows Phone 8. Now that can be password protected as well, so if you don't want your kid getting in and checking your email or calling people on your phone or doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, you can set up a Kids Corner, lock your phone, and it's that quick and that easy. So little options like this are really making Windows Phone 8 great. I just look forward to the time where it jumps ahead in a lot of ways and continues to do well, and hopefully we'll see that in 2013. Let's take a look at the marketplaces as well. Respected marketplaces on both of these devices. Google Play over here, Windows Store, Windows Phone Store over here, Microsoft Store, whatever you want to call it. and that's loading up right now. Now you've got AT&T featured in Nokia collection, which we'll talk about some of the Nokia value-added applications in just a second. But you got phone over here, or Play Store rather, over here with a combination of stuff. You've got books, music, magazines, movies, and TV, and then of course apps. Over here you've got that as well, apps, games, music, and podcasts. So I can go into music and take a look at, for example, let's type in, let's find a good one, Heartbreak. And let's see what comes up. And so you got a bunch of different music that pops up. Welcome to Heartbreak, Electric Daisy Carnival. My heart is actually not breaking, but I was thinking of that country song, Somebody's Heartbreak, actually, is what let's see if I can put it in backwards and it'll come up. There it is, Somebody's Heart. Hunter Hayes sings that. So you got the song here, and Wanted, he does Wanted as well, and I can play that. I can buy it for $1.29. So you got a lot of popular songs over here as well as you do in Google Play. I find that both of these aren't quite up to par in comparison to Apple's Music Store with iTunes Music Store, but still you can get some nice music in both the Google Play Store and over on the Microsoft Store as well. Let's take a look also while we're in here and kind of switching gears just a bit. Let's take a look. I'm going to go down here and find it. Local Scout. This is one of my favorite options on Microsoft. And we'll talk about the Nokia value adds as well. So let's say I landed in San Francisco or San Diego or somewhere outside of home. Let's say I'm away from Dallas. And I find a good place. I'm landing there for work. And I'm like, I need a good place to eat or a good place to drink or a place to stay in a hotel. Well, you've got this thing called Local Scout, which is built in. And I'm not quite sure why it's not loading. It's taking its sweet time. Let's see what's taking this so long. Let's see. Come on, come on. That's taking too long. Let's see if we can get the Nokia version. That's the Windows Phone version. Let's do Nokia City Lens. This is actually one of my favorites. Let's see if we can get this to pop up. Here we go, Dallas. This is the Nokia options. That actually kind of jumps us right into the Nokia alternatives. Food, for example, I can scroll around. Actually, let me calibrate the compass real quick, and then I can scroll around and see all the different food options around my office. And when there's a big plus one, I click it to magnify that there's a Subway, a Wendy's, the Genki Sushi, Furs, a smoothie shop. That's actually a pretty good smoothie shop. Zio's, and more. Then I can go over here in portrait mode and see all the different options near my office, which is a really nice touch. You can do that with hotels and more. Let's quickly take a look at the cameras on both of these devices. 8 megapixels over here, 5 over here. Really enjoy this one just because of HTC's ImageSense chip, which comes pre-installed on the One VX. And we'll jump over here and see as well. Press and hold the camera button. This has a physical camera button. The One VX does not. We're going to bring over a competitor here. We'll bring over the One X Plus to take a look at. And let's see here. Let's back it out a little bit so it's not so blown out. And you can take quick images. Same thing over here. Let me turn the sound up so you can hear it. Burst mode. When I'm done, I can choose the best image and more. I find the overall image quality to be maybe slightly better on the Lumia 820, but I actually like the shooter over on the One VX a little bit better because of burst mode. And granted, you can go into the Windows Marketplace and grab some alternatives, things like Panorama. If we go back to the store, I can show you, for example, over here. You've got apps, games, music, and podcasts. But you've got the Nokia collection, Photo Beamer, Smart Shoot. So you get some other alternatives if you want them to really make the camera great. Cinemagraph, Creative Studio. You've got Panorama, which is there, and you can download that and use those as kind of lenses, if you will, for your camera. 8 megapixels over here, 5 megapixels over here, and then of course your shortcuts over on this side as well. Video quality, image resolution, and more. And then over here, we've got those options. And let's jump through here. Photo settings, video settings, as you can see. And you can select video for standard quality, or I can go to photo settings and see all my different white balance, aspect ratios, and more. I do like the ability over here where I can scroll back and forth between my live images and then of course the gallery itself and just scroll right back in and out. It's easy. It's the flagship quote, if you will, of Microsoft's Windows Phone. But overall, some great features on both of these devices. And as always, with any dogfight, it's really tough to decide which one is the best. As always, it's going to depend on your personal usage habits. That said, based on overall the best features, the best software features, hardware specifications, all that stuff kind of mixed into a pot, the best device between these two, the dogfight winner, is the HTC One VX. It offers a really compelling platform of features. It's got Android 4.0, so a relatively, granted, not up-to-date version of Android, but a relatively up-to-date version of Android. It's got a nice bigger battery, a 1,810 milliamp hour battery that, yes, it's non-removable, but with a lower par camera, with a non-HD display, this is going to beat, and has beaten, the original One X. So if you had the One X, you were a little bit disenfranchised with battery life, this could be a good alternative if you still wanted to stick with HTC. Really impressive all around there. 4.5-inch display, definitely a nice sweet spot for a lot of people. 4G LTE is great, and you can't beat $50. This is a great alternative as well. Though I would say jump up to the Windows Phone Nokia Lumia 920 for $100 if you're really looking at a great Windows Phone device. You jump up, you get a great build quality, you get a nice HD display and more for 50 more bucks, whereas the high-end alternative to this is the 1X Plus, and as of right now, it's still $200. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage of both of these devices. Follow us on Twitter at PhoneDog. Hit me up on Twitter if you want to at Aaron C. Baker. And as always, we'll see you next time.